Basics of Horoscope Interpretations, Part 5. Functional Benefics and Malefics, Variations across Ascendants. Let's now deepen our understanding of functional benefics and malefics by exploring how the same planet switches roles across different ascendants, transforming from a blessing to a challenge depending on house rulership. This is where many astrological misinterpretations happen. A textbook benefic like Jupiter or Venus may not function favorably in all charts, while a feared planet like Mars or Saturn might become the source of highest support. We'll explore these variations to highlight the precision and individuality functional nature introduces into chart reading. Starting with Aries ascendant, ruled by fiery Mars. Saturn rules the 10th and 11th houses. Despite being a natural malefic, Saturn becomes a functional malefic too, often delaying career, 10th, or bringing rigid social circles, 11th. If Saturn is placed in the first house, Aries, its debilitation sign, it can cause identity suppression or health issues unless corrected by Nichabanga or Jupiter's aspect. Sun, ruling the 5th house, becomes a functional benefic. Its placement in the 9th or 10th often boosts dharmic intelligence, leadership, or fame. Now consider Taurus ascendant, ruled by Venus. Saturn rules the 9th and 10th houses, both trinal and angular. This makes Saturn a Yoga Karaka for Taurus, despite its natural malefic label. When placed in the 7th house in Scorpio, Saturn may delay marriage but give lasting partnerships and ethical career growth. Jupiter, however, rules the 8th and 11th houses. Despite being naturally benefic, for Taurus it acts as a functional malefic, and its dasha may bring hidden disruptions, losses through elder siblings, or blockages in gains. Gemini ascendant, ruled by Mercury, brings a unique twist. Mars becomes the lord of the 6th and 11th houses, two upachaya houses. It thus becomes a functional malefic, especially in early life. Mars placed in the 10th may bring aggressive career tactics or workplace enemies. Venus, ruling the 5th and 12th, is mixed. Though the 5th is positive, the 12th can drain vitality. Still, Venus is often helpful for spiritual creativity, foreign travels, and artistic intuition when well placed. With Cancer ascendant, ruled by the nurturing moon, Mars rules the 5th and 10th, making it a Yoga Karaka despite being naturally malefic. Mars in Capricorn in the 7th forms a powerful Raja Yoga and gives success in partnerships and public life. Jupiter, ruling the 6th and 9th, is mixed. The 9th gives dharma and luck, while the 6th brings conflicts. If Jupiter is in Leo in the 2nd house, the native may be generous with wealth, but struggle with debts or overpromising. For Leo ascendant, ruled by the Sun, Mars rules the 4th and 9th, again a Yoga Karaka. Mars in the 10th house in Taurus may still produce ambition and drive, but if aspected by Saturn, it could turn into career rigidity or parental karma. Jupiter, ruling the 5th and 8th, is mixed. The 5th supports intelligence in children, but the 8th brings unpredictability. In Pisces in the 8th, Jupiter may give spiritual depth or even occult interests. In Virgo ascendant, ruled by Mercury, Venus rules the 2nd and 9th. While this appears benefic, Venus is the enemy of Mercury and thus becomes a mild functional malefic, especially if combust. When Venus is placed in the 12th, the native may experience excess expenditure in relationships or confusion about values. Saturn, ruling the 5th and 6th, is more functional malefic due to 6th house ownership, but Saturn in Capricorn in the 5th may produce a disciplined intellect or later in life romance success. In Libra ascendant, ruled by Venus, Saturn becomes a pure benefic as it rules the 4th and 5th houses. If Saturn is placed in Aquarius in the 5th, the native may gain from structured creativity, elder siblings, and rational parenting style. Jupiter, however, rules the 3rd and 6th houses and acts as a functional malefic, often resulting in health or sibling-related karmas. If placed in the 12th, the person may be charitable yet drain resources unknowingly. Scorpio ascendant, ruled by Mars, reverses the Jupiter story. Jupiter rules the 2nd and 5th houses, both wealth and intelligence, making it a functional benefic. If placed in Cancer in the 9th, exaltation, it gives dharmic guidance, strong family values, and teaching ability. Mercury, ruling the 8th and 11th, acts as a functional malefic. If Mercury is placed in the third house with Ketu, the person may have communication blocks, strained sibling dynamics, or scattered thinking. For Sagittarius ascendant, ruled by Jupiter, Mars rules the 5th and 12th. Though the 5th is powerful, the 12th brings loss. Mars can act as a neutral to mild benefic, especially if placed in the 10th. However, if it is placed in the 6th with Rahu, it may activate hidden enemies and exhaustion. Venus, ruling the 6th and 11th, is a functional malefic. Even though it may bring financial gains, it may also result in relationship friction and overindulgence. For Capricorn ascendant, ruled by Saturn, Venus becomes the Yoga Karaka, ruling the 5th and 10th. Even though Venus and Saturn are different in quality, their combination works well. Venus in the 1st or 10th brings grace in profession and creativity in expression. Moon, ruling the 7th house, becomes a maraka, and if placed in the 8th or afflicted, may cause instability in partnerships or emotional unpredictability. In Aquarius ascendant, also ruled by Saturn, Venus again becomes a strong functional benefic, ruling the 4th and 9th. Venus in Taurus in the 4th gives luxury in housing, strong maternal ties, and vehicle comforts. Jupiter, ruling the 2nd and 11th, seems to be gain-oriented, but it's a functional malefic due to 11th ownership and opposition with Saturn. Jupiter in the 6th may lead to financial anxiety or ego-related issues. Finally, in Pisces ascendant, ruled by Jupiter, Moon, ruling the 5th, is a functional benefic, and when placed in the 1st or 9th, brings emotional intelligence and deep creativity. Venus, ruling the 3rd and 8th, becomes a functional malefic. Even if exalted in Pisces in the 1st, it must be carefully read. It may bring seductive charm, but also vanity, secrets, or loss via love. These examples prove how no planet can be understood in isolation from the ascendant. Functional nature gives life to interpretation, transforming broad rules into chart-specific truths. In Part 6, we'll analyze real-world yogas and how combining natural and functional roles changes the prediction. Would you like to proceed? Basics of Horoscope Interpretations, Part 6. Natural significators, in Jyotish, one of the most powerful tools in interpretation is understanding the natural significators, Naisargika Karakas, planets that inherently govern particular life themes, regardless of house rulership or ascendant. These Karakas act like universal anchors. They symbolize core archetypes across every chart. While functional roles may shift with the Lagna, a planet's Karakatva, significator strength, remains stable and consistent across all horoscopes. Ignoring this layer often leads to flat or incomplete readings. Let's explore these core planetary significators and see how they function through themes, not merely through placements. The Sun is the natural significator of the father, soul, Atma, authority, government, bones, and vitality. Even when it is not the 9th lord or placed in the 9th house, traditionally associated with father, its condition in the chart still tells us about the native's relationship with father, identity, and sense of purpose. For instance, a debilitated sun in Libra in the 10th house may indicate public recognition, but inner insecurity around father figures or leadership roles. If the sun is aspected by Saturn, the father might be strict, emotionally distant, or karmically burdensome. Even without being the house lord, the sun's dignity gives vital clues about ego development and karmic confidence. The moon is the Karaka for mind, emotions, mother, fluids, and public mood. A strong, waxing moon in Taurus, its exaltation sign, in any house enhances emotional resilience and social charm, even if it doesn't rule the 4th house. A waning or dark moon in Scorpio, especially if placed in the 8th or 12th, may lead to emotional volatility, sleep issues, or maternal separation. For example, a chart with moon in Ashlesha in the 6th house may show a native with highly reactive mental patterns, possibly dealing with anxiety, emotional entanglements, or karmic mother-child dynamics, regardless of moon's functional status. Mars signifies siblings, especially brothers, courage, blood, muscles, ambition, and sexuality. Even when not connected to the 3rd or 6th house, Mars shows how a person expresses willpower, aggression, and physical vitality. Mars in the 2nd house often influences speech, making it direct, blunt, or cutting. When Mars aspects Venus, especially in signs like Scorpio or Aries, it activates themes of sexual intensity, competitiveness in relationships, or desire-driven action. In a female chart, Mars in the seventh as natural Karaka of masculinity may reflect challenges with male partners, independent of Mars, house rulership. Mercury naturally governs intellect, speech, communication, business, nervous system, and young people. Even if Mercury isn't connected to the second or fifth house, its condition impacts how someone processes logic and social interaction. A retrograde Mercury in the third house can result in overthinking, misunderstood communication, or creative linguistic flair. In charts of public speakers or tech innovators, Mercury's strength is often pronounced, either in Virgo or Gemini, or under benefic influence. Afflicted Mercury, especially by Rahu or Saturn, may result in social awkwardness, speech delays, or scattered thought processes. Jupiter is the natural significator of children, especially sons, wisdom, wealth, teachers, and dharma. If a person struggles with conception or has challenges with their belief system, a poorly placed Jupiter, especially in Capricorn or afflicted by Ketu, often shows up. Even without owning the fifth or ninth house, Jupiter placed in the eighth or 12th may suggest hidden beliefs, spiritual detachment, or long journeys with father-like figures. A combust Jupiter in Leo in the fourth house can create internal conflict between dharma and comfort, or between family traditions and personal philosophy. Jupiter is also the Karaka for husband in a female chart, so its placement is crucial for marriage dynamics. Venus governs love, marriage, beauty, art, vehicles, luxuries, reproductive organs, and femininity. A strong Venus in Taurus, Libra, or Pisces supports harmonious relationships, artistic gifts, and indulgent comforts. However, Venus in Virgo, its sign of debilitation, especially in the seventh house, may signal relationship dissatisfaction or perfectionism in love. Venus conjunct Ketu may bring detachment from sensual pleasures or non-traditional relationship paths. Even if Venus doesn't rule the seventh house, its Karakatva ensures that it plays a leading role in how love, desire, and aesthetic values manifest in the native's life. Saturn is the natural significator of hardship, delay, discipline, old age, servants, bones, and karma. It also rules over the working class, chronic diseases, and fear. A strong Saturn in Capricorn or Aquarius, even in the 6th or 11th houses, often leads to disciplined achievement and long-term endurance. However, Saturn in the 4th house may indicate emotional suppression, late maturity in relationships with mother, or a heavy karmic load at home. If Saturn aspects the moon, there's often emotional hardening or depressive tendencies. Saturn represents time, so its role in a chart always points to what must be earned slowly, through patience and perseverance. Rahu and Ketu, though not lords of any sign, are powerful natural significators. Rahu signifies obsession, foreign lands, illusions, electronics, and unconventional desires, while Ketu represents spiritual detachment, past life mastery, losses, and moksha. Rahu in the 10th house, regardless of rulership, often brings ambition for fame, social media presence, or rapid professional rise. Ketu in the 4th may indicate disinterest in family life or emotional withdrawal, especially if conjoined moon. When either node influences Karaka planets, like Rahu conjunct Venus or Ketu conjunct Jupiter, they can drastically alter the way those themes are experienced, often amplifying or nullifying their usual effects. Thus, natural significators act as eternal themes in the chart. They provide a backdrop against which house rulership and dasha timing must be analyzed. While house lords explain where karma plays out, Karakas reveal what is being expressed universally across all charts. In Part 7, we'll synthesize these Karakas with divisional charts, especially Navamsa and Saptamsa, to see how natural significators guide both visible and subtle karmas. Basics of Horoscope Interpretations, Part 7. House Significators, Karaka Grahas. Beyond natural significators, Jyotish assigns house-specific significators, Bhava Karaka Grahas, planets that carry a natural affinity for certain houses, even if they don't own them in a given chart. These house Karakas enrich interpretation by acting as default lenses for specific domains of life. They can reveal how themes like marriage, speech, children, or career evolve over time, especially when the Bhava Karaka is afflicted or empowered. Misreading these Karakas often leads to overlooking subtle yet potent planetary messages in a chart. Sun is the Karaka for the first, ninth, father, fortune, and 10th house, authority, public status. Even if the sun doesn't rule these houses in a given chart, its dignity directly influences identity, ethics, and career trajectory. A well-placed sun in the 10th house, especially in Aries or Leo, empowers one with recognition, leadership, and a clear sense of direction. But an afflicted sun, even if ruling a positive house, can weaken confidence, cause clashes with authority, or create a life path riddled with ego conflicts. For instance, Sun in Libra in the first house may show chronic issues with self-worth and visibility. Moon is the Karaka for the fourth house, governing mother, emotional grounding, home, and inner peace. A strong moon in the fourth enhances comfort, maternal support, and stability in personal life, even when moon isn't the house ruler. But a waning moon in the eighth or afflicted in the fourth by malefics like Rahu or Saturn may indicate emotional turbulence, distance from the mother, or disrupted domestic environments. In charts of individuals with a constant need for emotional validation or frequent relocations, the moon as fourth house Karaka is often weak, combust, or placed in volatile signs. Mars holds strong Karakatva for the third, courage, siblings, sixth, conflict, service, and 10th houses, career action. Its role is about energy, assertiveness, and survival instincts. Mars in the third house, especially in Aries or Scorpio, can make one bold, action-driven, or a capable communicator, sometimes aggressive. In the sixth house, it gives a natural warrior mindset, but if afflicted or debilitated, may lead to chronic health struggles or legal entanglements. Since Mars energizes the 10th house, its strength there often determines how decisively and assertively a person engages with their public duties. Mercury is the Karaka of the 10th house, business, intellect, communication, and work. Third house, speech, marketing, siblings, and sixth house, analysis, problem solving. If Mercury is well placed, especially in Virgo or Gemini, and influences these houses, it indicates a mind skilled in articulation, negotiation, or data mastery. In charts of entrepreneurs, lawyers, and strategists, Mercury often touches the third or 10th house in some form. But if Mercury is combust, retrograde, or afflicted by Rahu, the individual may suffer from indecision, miscommunication, or anxiety in career dealings, even if house lords are well placed. Jupiter is a powerful Karaka for the second house, speech, wealth, family, fifth house, children, intellect, ninth house, wisdom, higher learning, and 11th house, gains, social impact. Its role is to expand and bless wherever it touches. Even if it doesn't rule these houses, Jupiter's placement strongly affects their outcomes. For instance, Jupiter in the fifth, especially in Cancer or Sagittarius, often brings articulate children, high moral values, and creative intelligence. But if Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn or placed in the eighth, the native may struggle with belief systems, financial ethics, or problems related to children, despite having well-placed house lords. Venus acts as the Karaka of the fourth, comfort, vehicles, seventh, marriage, partnerships, and 12th house, pleasures, intimacy, liberation. If Venus is exalted in Pisces and connects with these houses, it supports loving partnerships, aesthetic sensitivity, and spiritual romantic union. In the seventh, Venus enhances charm and mutual compatibility. In the 12th, it can denote sensual pleasure or devotion to beauty. But if Venus is debilitated in Virgo or afflicted by Ketu, these house matters can become difficult, leading to relationship dissatisfaction, shallow indulgences, or disconnection from luxury and comfort. Saturn is the Karaka for the sixth, work, disease, eighth, longevity, secrets, 10th, career, and 12th houses, isolation, karma dissolution. Its presence in or connection to these houses often intensifies karmic tests and delays. Saturn in the sixth gives a strong service ethic and resilience against enemies or disease, but only when unafflicted and dignified. In the eighth house, it may grant long life, occult knowledge, or deep inner transformation, particularly when aspected by Jupiter. In the 10th, Saturn can bring long-term career growth through hard work and responsibility. However, affliction can turn these houses into sources of chronic struggle or psychological pressure. Rahu and Ketu don't have fixed house ownerships, but they significantly influence the first, identity, fifth, karma, children, 7th, relationships, 8th, hidden evolution, and 12th houses, moksha, loss. Rahu in the 5th house, for example, may cause karmic entanglement with children or speculative losses, while Ketu in the 12th house may enhance spiritual detachment, meditation, or foreign isolation. Their effects are amplified or mitigated based on conjunctions with the Bhava Karaka grahas, when they align with or afflict Jupiter, 5th, Venus, 7th, 12th, or Saturn, 6th, 8th. The karma of those houses accelerates. Ultimately, Bhava Karaka grahas act like the hidden keys to each house's karma, revealing how comfortably or challengingly the native will engage with those life areas. Even when house lords are strong, if the Bhava Karaka is weak, the results are limited or delayed. For example, a strong 5th house lord may promise children, but if Jupiter natural Karaka is afflicted, the blessings may be delayed or emotionally complicated. In Part 8, we'll move into planetary strength factors, Shadbala, Avastha, Varabala, to understand how much power a planet really has to deliver its promises. Shall we continue? Basics of Horoscope Interpretations, Part 8. Planetary strength factors, Shadbala, Avastha, Digbala, and Varabala. While yogas, karakas, and house lords tell us what a planet is trying to do, planetary strength factors tell us how well it can do it. A planet may rule powerful houses, sit in exaltation, or even form a promising yoga, but without sufficient strength, it may fail to deliver its potential. This is where the deeper evaluation of strength becomes critical. Factors like Shadbala, Avastha, Digbala, and Varabala help us assess whether a graha is empowered, neutralized, or obstructed in expressing its karma. Skipping this step often results in misdiagnosing a planet's influence. Shadbala is the most comprehensive system of measuring planetary strength. It includes 6 categories: Sthanabala, positional strength; Digbala, directional strength; Kalabala, temporal strength; Chestabala, motional strength; Naisargika Bala, natural strength; and Digbala, aspectual strength. A planet with high Shadbala, above 1.0 rupas, is considered empowered to act in accordance with its nature and house rulership. For example, Saturn with high Shadbala in the 10th house of Capricorn may indicate consistent, structured career growth, even if it's naturally slow. But if Shadbala is weak, the same Saturn could result in stagnation, delay, or collapse of ambition. Avasthas represent the state or condition of a planet, like its mood or mental readiness. These include Deepta, exalted; Shanta, peaceful; Mudita, joyful; Kshudita, hungry; Kopa, angry; and Dina, distressed, among others. They help us determine if a planet is expressing its strength fully or is frustrated. For instance, a Jupiter in Mudita Avastha in the 5th house gives wisdom, joy in teaching, and fertile creativity. But the same Jupiter in Kshudita or Dina Avastha, especially in the 8th, may feel starved for meaning, resulting in spiritual dissatisfaction or scattered belief systems. Avasthas are especially useful in fine-tuning planetary influence, even when Shadbala looks strong on paper. Digbala, or directional strength, shows where a planet expresses itself most confidently. For example, Jupiter gets full Digbala in the 1st house, Mercury and Venus in the 4th, Mars in the 10th, and Saturn in the 7th. A planet in its directional strength not only improves outcomes in that house, but also stabilizes its Karakatva. Mars in the 10th, full Digbala, becomes a formidable force for ambition, leadership, and assertion in one's professional life. But the same Mars in the 4th, its direction of debility, may produce restlessness at home, anger in family dynamics, or suppressed emotions. Varabala, or strength in divisional charts, especially the Navamsa D9, Dashamsa D10, and Saptamsa D7, shows latent power that often determines whether a planet fulfills its house promises. For instance, Venus may appear weak in the main chart, Lagna chart, but if exalted in the Navamsa, it may still give a happy marriage. Jupiter in the 5th in the Rashi chart, but debilitated in the D7, might signal children with karmic challenges or difficulties in parenting. The Navamsa chart is critical for relationship and dharma matters, while D10 evaluates career karma, and D7 reflects progeny and creative lineage. An often underutilized metric is Ishta and Kashtaphala, the planet's ability to give auspicious Ishta versus inauspicious Kashta results during its dasha or transit. A planet with high Shadbala but low Ishtaphala might still struggle to deliver grace during its period, whereas a modestly placed planet with high Ishta may quietly bless the native with harmony, protection, or inner support. These are the subtler forms of planetary intelligence that emerge only in lived time, not immediately visible in static charts. For instance, Mercury exalted in Virgo in the 10th may seem flawless, but if it's combust by the Sun, in Copa Avastha, and receives zero Digbala, its ability to communicate and network effectively in a career may be compromised. Similarly, Moon in Taurus, exalted in the 4th, may signify emotional grounding, but if it is in Dina Avastha, with low Varabala in the Navamsa and afflicted by Saturn, the native might experience inner emotional barrenness despite a comfortable outer life. It's also critical to understand how strength interacts with timing. A planet may be strong on all technical fronts, but still fail to produce results if it's not active by dasha or transit. Saturn may be dignified in the 10th, have full Digbala and high Shadbala, but until its dasha activates, the karmic potential remains latent. On the other hand, a weak Mercury in transit may produce powerful short-term results if it's the dasha lord and transiting over natal Jupiter in the 5th. In conclusion, understanding planetary strength goes far beyond sign placement or natural benefic malefic labels. It involves evaluating how empowered, supported, or obstructed a planet is in performing its karmic duty. These strength factors, Shadbala, Avastha, Digbala, and Varabala, are like the muscle tone, stamina, and morale of the planetary forces. Without assessing them, you may be reading intentions rather than outcomes. In Part 9, we'll apply all the prior concepts to chart examples to decode where strength, function, and timing align, or clash, to shape karma. Shall we proceed?